Welcome back, you guys. Tonight we're going to be working on an M&P 9. This is a 2.0 edition. This could easily be one of the most advanced builds that I've had requested to date on one of these models. Let's discuss that briefly. Let's give you a better understanding of exactly what we're going to be doing to help you understand exactly what you're watching and to get you that overall visual as it unfolds. We're first going to start with some CNC work over on the Tormach 770. We have some precision work that needs to be turned out before we get to the laser. We're going to be cutting a Trigicon in the back zone. We're going to remove the factory dovetail. We're going to cut this for a new Glock style dovetail in front of the Trigicon, allowing for the co-witness of what's going to be the front suppressor sight and the rear Glock suppressor sight, and then of course the Trigicon. So overall, nice setup for the irons and for the optic. I think it's a really well flowing design. We're then going to move on to shaving the front side. So we're going to end up coming down at an angle. We're going to come right off the edge. We're going to be doing the same thing on the right-hand side of the weapon, come down at an angle, come over all the way off the end. We're doing that to remove the factory text that's there. We don't want to take off too much material because we do have some laser work that we're going to be performing on the front right and the left, but we do want to remove that factory text to give us an overall better visual of the design that we're doing. So that's one of the things that we have to do over on the Tormach. And last but not least, we need to cut a little C-notch on the front here for our Cobra nose, able to show us a little bit more of the barrel protruding out the end. Overall, gives it a little bit better visual. I think it's a great idea. What we're then going to be doing is we're going to be moving on to laser work. And the laser work is going to be very, very advanced. We're going to be running an all-cog gear gun. So what that means is on the front zone here, we're going to end up doing a series of cogs and gears. That's then going to step down to another layer of them. So it's going to be a multi-step based pattern, and then it's going to step down even further with a hole. So you're going to be able to see a little bit of the barrel through there. We don't want to take off too much material because on the 2.0s, the walls do have a thinner amount of material versus the Gen 1 models. So we want to be able to, obviously have some detailed pattern in the design, but we want to make sure that structurally we're not losing any of the integrity and the rigidity of the slide, obviously when it's being used for function. So we want to make sure that we're making good choices here. And that's one of the reasons that we'll do a taper and then off, and then our cogs will be up in this zone, and we'll end up having a lot of area for where the barrel's going to lock up. Overall, we should play that safe and come out with a real nice design. Looking forward to seeing that. I think it's going to be a pretty advanced build. I think it's going to be quite challenging because we've got to do that first layer, we've got to do that second layer, then we've got to do some holes. And last but not least on the slide, we're going to be doing the Cerakote Battle Worn, and I think this is the best of the best feature of the slide because we're going to be able to take and sand that stuff down. The top layer is going to be applied. We're going to do the second layer. We're going to sand it through, and we're really going to get some defining characteristics off of where those gears are in through here. I think that we're really going to be able to see that individual step from one to the other. It's going to give you more of that three-dimensional based viewing, and then of course there's holes, right? So we're definitely going to get that visual overall of a 3D based design on the front zone. I know you guys have seen the cogs and the gears before, but I don't think you've ever seen them where they're multi-stepped and holes. It's more of just a surface etch. You're going to find out we don't really surface etch here. We actually do laser cutting and deep engraving. Now with that being said, here's the challenging part. This is an Apex high-grade barrel, very nice barrel overall. We're going to end up running the cogs all the way around this out the end. Now keep in mind, we're going to stay away from the nose because this is where it goes in on your slide where it locks up in here. So we're going to stay away from this zone. We're also going to stay away from the front zone here. So pretty much from here to here, maybe a little bit more, somewhere in this zone, we're going to run cogs all the way around there. Now I have to make some decisions. Do we want those cogs to touch? Do we not want them to touch? Do we want it to be some kind of an overlapping, repeating pattern? Do we want to do it where the cogs are raised or the cogs are low? So we have to make some good choices here overall. One of the things you're going to notice is the barrel seems to be somewhat thick. However, it does have a taper right here where it goes through what I would call almost like a bushing on the front of your slide. So where it goes through the front loop right here, it's a different diameter than it is here. So we definitely need to make sure that we're not going too deep. We want to make sure that we're making good choices overall on how we're going to play that out. And then last but not least, the barrel is going to get sent out for gold coating. Now, I don't think that we're going to be seeing this as a full completed project because of the turnaround time. So what's going to end up happening is I'll end up getting the slide back to the customer. The barrel will end up getting sent out. The barrel will then get shipped back to the customer. Hopefully the customer will send me a couple pictures. This is one of the reasons why I always encourage you guys to follow us over on our Instagram channel, because sometimes you guys see a build, but you don't see a full build or a completed product, because sometimes these guys then send their frames out. They haven't done it for other places. So if you really want to see the visual of not only what I did and what the coating company did as far as the barrel, but also what the frame has been done. So our Instagram is kind of the place to be. We end up posting a lot of those pictures. We'll go back and re-tag the video so you can see the portion that we did, because you know, in some cases we only do a piece to the puzzle, right? So, and that's what you guys are watching now. So I would definitely encourage you to follow us on Instagram, follow us over on our Facebook, because that's kind of where you're going to see the overall final product, because I usually have my customers send me pictures and I end up posting those back on there. So overall, definitely the opportunity to see the completed version. Guys, we're going to get over to the Tormach 770. Let's go ahead and start on this precision CNC work. We need to get that thing cleaned up, cleared up, and just kind of ready to get it laser cut up over there. So we're gonna get all that work done. We're gonna get you back over to the laser. We're gonna start working on that. And if something turns up in the middle of this product, where maybe we're changed directions or made a decision of something, you guys will be the first to know. So let's get to work. right, guys, let's take a couple minutes and discuss this as a whole. This is a very, very beautiful slide overall. Let's first talk about the Tormach 770 precision CNC work that was performed on the slide before we get over to the laser work. We ended up cutting the Trigicon in the back zone, removed the factory dovetail, added a new Glock style dovetail to the slide for co-witnessing, shaved the front, left, and right sides, a little bit of weight reduction there. Obviously, it gave us more of a blank canvas to work with, so we're not going through the text. And then last but not least, we ended up cutting the Cobra nose on the end to be able to see some nice barrel on what would be the left and the right side of the slide once it's assembled and once the barrel has been installed. Guys, one of the reasons why I separate Tormach to laser work is because I really want to give you the feel that there is no one machine does all. I have a lot of guys that reach out to me and they're interested in buying a laser. Most of them are gun shops, hobbyists, people interested in doing the same thing that I do. And I really let them know that, hey, we sell a laser, but I really want to know what you're doing. I want to make sure that we're selling you the right product for the right job. And that, guys, is why we run two different machines. Okay, we run a Tormach 770 because we're after the precision work. We need that because we need to clean those sides up. We need to be able to do those optic cuts and thread those holes. We need to be able to cut those dovetails and Cobra nose and in some cases front serrations and windows. Those are all things that are performed on that machine because that's the right machine for the job. And I can't emphasize that enough because there's a lot of guys that are like, well, everybody's doing lasers now and I need to get a laser. You probably do need a laser, and it probably is the best practical piece of hardware for your environment and for your clients as far as the services that you offer. However, keep in mind that there's always a tool for the job, not one tool fits all jobs. And I really want to emphasize that, like I've said before, because I've been turning out precision work for I don't know, late 2017, November, December-ish, on the Tormach. And probably one of the best decisions I've made as far as upgrading from a hobby-based mill to a CNC machine. I mean, out of the box, set it up, run it. It outperforms anything that I've ever built or tuned and designed, which speaks a lot for me because that means I've seen it on both sides. I've seen the build it, how does it work, and I've seen the buy it, how does it work. Highly recommended. Guys, let's move on to the laser work. The laser itself happens to be the tool of choice for the delicate base processes and more of the artwork, as I would call it. And that's kind of what we have here. This is a lot of artwork on this slide. Beautiful, love it overall. Let's take a look at it a little bit closer. We ended up using the laser in these flat zones to create ourselves a gear pattern overlapping multi-stepped base design. So what that means is not only did we just shave the side to create a gear, we also ended up doing a multi-step, so there's more than one step down. We also have it where there's actually holes all the way through the slide as well to be able to see some barrel. So it's not just a one step and we're done kind of a process. I know we've seen a lot of that from a lot of the other companies that are out there, but if you've probably haven't realized this yet, we're not exactly like all the other companies that are out there. We work on models, we work on designs, and we do things that other companies just shake their head at and say, no, we don't do it, we don't want to look at it, we don't want to offer it. We do offer those as services, obviously you guys have seen that in the past. So that's why a lot of people come to me for intricate designs like you see here, because they know it's going to be done right. Let's talk about the top a little bit. We ended up running a multi-stepped pattern over and over on the top. The reason we did this pattern versus some of the side patterns is we wanted to see more barrel on the top. We ended up not showing a lot of barrel on the sides. The reason is because we really just didn't want to lose a lot of the intricacy of the pattern in the design work. We didn't really want that to kind of get washed out with a hole. So we really want to be able to see some nice stuff. We want to keep a nice lockup area around where the barrel locks up onto the slide, and overall we really wanted to keep that nice pattern. So we opted for a more open top, more visualization on the top. I think it flows extremely well, very pleased with that. And then last but not least, what we ended up doing was, on the slide itself, we ended up doing a battle worn. So we laid some burnt bronze, we laid some black, we blended together, and then we laid some clear. So it's a 3-coat process. Basically, everything has to be done 3 times, so it's 3 times harder. At the end of the day, it's a very durable process, or very durable, I should say, coating because of the process. There happen to be multiple layers. They have to be applied over top of each other, and overall, it's a very strong coating that's going to last for the duration of the slide. So very, very cool over there. Really liking that. Let's talk about the barrel. We're going to set this down. The barrel, wow, this was a real challenge here. So the first thing that you guys see on the barrel are all these little gears, and I understand that you're probably not going to see this all that great inside, so we will add some pictures. So we have all these little gears all the way around in a seamless pattern. Now, what you guys would first think is that we made a pass and then we just rolled it and made a pass and rolled it and made a pass. That's actually not the case. The problem that I ran into was because the gears were adjusted, because they're not exactly straight across from each other, the pegs on the gears, or the teeth on the gears, hit each other. So I actually had to create a two-step pass, or a process, I should say. So it has a line, and then there's another set of gears. So it's almost like gear, 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 all the way down through here, and then it gets rolled to the next one, then it gets rolled to the next one. But the problem that you run into is that the second gear, when we come all the way around to the other side of the slide, does not match up with the first one. So I had to create a last pass that would actually seamlessly tie the very first engrave to the very last engrave. It's a complicated process. Quite honestly, I'm not sure I understand it. But with that being said, it worked out okay. It's a really, really advanced process, the way in which that goes. Lately, we've been turning out a lot of different designs on the barrels, a lot of high-end barrels. You guys have probably seen that on our Instagram. And we've also sold some off. I happen to be pretty barrel heavy right now, where I have probably 40 or 50 barrels here. So it's time for some of them to go. If you guys have seen some barrels, reach out to me and let me know. You'll definitely be getting a discount based off of purchasing a barrel than you would be sending in a barrel and having it done, because I'm in the, I'm kind of in the mode of moving some barrels in order to build some new ones. So we also ended up adding what would be the 9 on the top. I know it's hard to see, it's polished, so we're going to add some pictures of this. The idea is that this barrel will go out, this one's going to brazenarms.com. They're going to go do a rose gold on it in what would be like the high polish, because it's already polished, so it's more of like a see-through rose. Very, very cool. Overall, I think it looks really good. I have a lot of handprints on it, so I apologize. But overall, it's a real beautiful design. One of the requests that I had was didn't want to see any gears through the Cobra nose, so we ended up stepping that back. And guys, this is kind of what you get when you go through me, is that, tell me what you want, not necessarily what I want, or as a company, what I offer. And sometimes it works out and sometimes it doesn't. Not all of you happen to have good ideas, I hate to say it that way, but sometimes some of the ideas that you guys have, they're not safe, and there's no practicality versus the cost of what it would cost to actually do that. But if it's a minor change, something small that you want to have done, reach out to me, let me know. But overall, very, very cool. Really loving this design. But I cannot emphasize enough on what the business is geared around and how the business is set up for you guys. And what that means is we do have certain patterns that are on the webpage that you can purchase. You can go on there, select like your Shield and some of your other M&P and some of your Glock and some of your 365 SIGs, and just kind of select the package and get that package done. But what you're also going to find out is that we also cater to a lot of the specific builds of what you're after, and this happens to be one of them. This is a very advanced build. We don't ever want to necessarily get rid of the artistic personalization of the builds, but what we do find out is that as this company is growing, I'm running out of more and more time, because we do happen to have a lot of the repeat designs. And that's okay, but what that means is we're going to have to slow down a little bit on a lot of these advanced base builds, and we are going to have to switch gears here a little bit and probably hire some people. We've got a lot of big things in the works this year. I can't tell you a lot about them right now, but I can tell you that it's really good stuff. We are finalizing on some very, very big things, and what that means is you'll probably see some new faces on the channel. You'll probably see a new location and new hardware. So overall, I can't go into the real majors on that. What I can tell you is that we will do some dedicated build videos, or videos in general, I guess, on where in the direction of this company is going. It's kind of outgrowing the hobby. Quite honestly, it's kind of outgrowing the job of one, and here we are. So with that being said, we're trying to make good choices. We're trying to take in work that we know we can turn out. We're trying to make sure that we're really not overstepping the ability of keeping the 2 to 3 week turnaround on most of those projects. We don't want to turn into that company that's like, yeah, it's a week or two, and then all of a sudden it's like 7 or 8. Now, I get it. If it's a big project like this, we don't know how many hours it's going to take. Yeah, things can change. They can get out of control real fast. But one of the things you're going to notice, or if you didn't know, if you ever reach out to me for a quote and I quote you something, it's pretty firm what that is. And what I mean by that is, I didn't know how many hours it was going to take to build this design. No idea. It could take anywhere from an hour to 2 hours to 25 hours in CAD work, and then designing and testing and tuning and overlaying, and then finally getting the piece in there and finally seeing how it works on the piece after we've run 10 samples. And the idea is that you'll never see me quote out hour labor on drawing time, ever. You never will see that, even from day one. And my theory has always been, I'm going to stay firm on what I quote you. And what that means is, the better I get at my job, the more accurate I quote you, the more accurate it is overall. Okay, so you're never going to find me being that company that says, oh, I'm sorry, well, it was 20 extra hours, it's an extra $1,000. Obviously, we're just using round numbers. But you're never going to find that from me. If it took me extra amount of time to do a process, unfortunately, it means you may get it back slower, but there was no extra cost out of your pocket, and we still did the work as exceptional as what it should have been done the first time. So overall, I think that's something that I always want to give to my customers. I never want to feel like I'm nickel and diming my customers on any of that stuff. I don't think it's right to you. And you know, hey, I gotta eat it if I'm the one that said it. So on some of these really advanced builds, we can kind of run into that. Something else I want to talk about that we have just been lacking on doing, but you've been hearing for a while, is that we are going to be doing a build of the year pistol. And what that means is we're going to be doing a signature series limited edition 5 guns, and you'll be able to pre-order these guns, and there will be a dedicated video on this hopefully in the next couple of weeks whenever I finally break free and have some time. And the idea is that they'll come out in December. So you would put 50% down. You're basically pre-ordering one of 5. They're going to come with all kinds of cool things. In the video, we'll talk about the gun, we'll talk about the barrel, we're going to talk about optics, we're going to talk about all the other little accessories that are going to come with it. And really what you're doing is you're purchasing a pistol that is one of my own creations. Okay, so like this was a vision of a customer, but this is my creation, and it's this limited edition version is basically going to be the build of 2019. So I don't foresee any of my customer-based projects topping these. So they're going to be expensive. 2, you're actually going to be purchasing an entire piece, which would be you know, all of the hardware as a whole. You won't be supplying the slide. You're buying everything. And 3, it's going to wow. So it's going to be one of the impress builds, and that's why it's in limited run quantity. We're not going to be producing a lot of them. And then each year the idea is that we'll choose a different make, model, and manufacturer the following year, and we'll change it up every year. So there's an opportunity there for if you want to be one of those first people to have all of them. Year 1 is really where you're going to want to start, because we will not be taking this pattern and reapplying this pattern to anything else. It's going to be specific to the limited edition 2019 signature series. So very, very cool. Hopefully we'll have that video turned out really soon. I know there's a lot of you guys that have really been asking me about that. Some of your local guys, some of the repeat guys have really been asking me about when's it coming out? When, you know, can I get in pre-order? Unfortunately, you can only get in pre-order once it's been released, because the quantities on it are so limited that there really is not going to be you know, somebody you got in. It's really going to be the day it goes live. You need to go pre-order, and that's what it's going to be. So guys, if you have any questions about anything, feel free to reach out. One of the things that you're always going to find out is that some of the stuff is posted on our Instagram before it's posted anywhere else. So follow us on Instagram, follow us over on Facebook, and of course, if you have any questions, there is a contacts tab on the webpage. Feel free to go there. Let us know exactly what you want to have done.